In this video, we're going to be talking about air hunger with normal oxygen levels. And the problem may be low CO2 tolerance because you can have completely normal oxygen levels and still feel like you cannot get enough air. That sounds impossible, but people live with it every day. They take a deep breath and then another and then another, and somehow the body still feels threatened. The chest stays tight, the breath feels unfinished, the mind starts scanning for danger. And the conclusion is always the same: I must need more oxygen. But what if that isn't the real problem? What if the problem isn't low oxygen, but a low tolerance to carbon dioxide? So here's the thing. Most of us were taught that breathing is simple. You breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide. Oxygen is good, carbon dioxide is waste. So when you feel short of breath, the fix seems obvious. Breathe more, breathe deeper, get more air in. But breathing more doesn't always mean oxygen is being delivered better. Sometimes breathing more drops your carbon dioxide too low. And when carbon dioxide levels fall, blood vessels tighten. Oxygen clings harder to hemoglobin. The nervous system gets more reactive. And the body can feel like it's suffocating, even when oxygen is right there. Now, air hunger is worth taking seriously. Asthma, heart conditions, anemia, infections, medications, thyroid problems, and sleep disorders all affect breathing. If your symptoms are new, severe, or that needs a doctor. But if the obvious causes have been ruled out and your body still overreacts to every breath, there's another question worth asking. Can your body actually tolerate carbon dioxide? And I don't mean how long can you force yourself to hold your breath. That's not it. CO2 tolerance is your body's ability to stay calm and oxygenated as carbon dioxide rises. It's the ability to feel internal pressure without instantly reading that pressure as a danger. Think of it like a smoke alarm. A good smoke alarm is useful. It warns you when something actually is wrong, but if it gets too sensitive, it starts screaming every time you make toast. The alarm is real, the sensation is real, the interpretation is wrong. That's what low CO2 tolerance does. Carbon dioxide rises a little, which is normal. Your brainstem notices, which is also normal. But instead of treating it as a routine signal, the nervous system reacts like something is wrong. So you breathe faster, and by over-breathing, you breathe off even more carbon dioxide, and the whole system gets less stable. So what's actually going wrong here? It comes down to a distinction most people never have heard. Having oxygen in your blood is not the same as delivering oxygen to a cell. Those are two different things. Oxygen travels through the bloodstream attached to hemoglobin, but at some point it has to let go. It has to leave the blood, it has to cross into the tissue, and it has to reach the cell. And one of the main signals that tells hemoglobin to release its oxygen is carbon dioxide. There's a name for this, the Bohr effect. When tissue is active, it produces more carbon dioxide, and that local rise in CO2 changes the chemistry around hemoglobin. So oxygen unloads exactly where demand is highest. In plain language, carbon dioxide tells oxygen where to go. So when CO2 runs low, or the body keeps flushing it out too fast, oxygen delivery gets less efficient. Not because oxygen is missing, because oxygen is present, but less usable. Present, but unusable. That is one of the most important distinctions in the body. Oxygen saturation is supply. Oxygen delivery is the real question. So you can have oxygen in the blood and still have tissue that is undersupplied. You can move air in and out all day and still feel like the breath never satisfies. Carbon dioxide was never just exhaust. It is a signal. It helps set the diameter of your blood vessels. It helps hold your pH steady. It shapes the driver of your breath, it helps steady the nervous system, and it helps oxygen reach the places that need it. This is why CO2 tolerance matters much more. Quietly ties breathing, blood flow, oxygen delivery, stress, and recovery into one picture. CO2 is not the fuel, it is part of the control system. And resilience at the level of breath is partly the body learning that rising signal is not an emergency. The pressure is not panic. The sensation can be tolerated. You've probably seen this pattern in someone or even yourself. A person with low CO2 tolerance feels air hunger fast. They sigh often, they breathe through the mouth without noticing. They feel anxious during exercise long before the muscles are actually tired. They struggle to recover after stress. They wake up tired because their breathing is unstable all night. The body slips into alarm too easily, not because they are weak, but because the alarm threshold has drifted too low. The signal has learned to treat a normal internal signal as a threat. And modern life trains that pattern constantly. Stress speeds the breath. Screens pull the head forward and cramp the diaphragm. Mouth breathing bypasses the nose. Poor sleep scrambles the rhythm. Over time, the body loses its comfort with carbon dioxide. The terrain shifts, the body tightens, the flow narrows, and the nervous system gets easier and easier to trigger. We measure heart rate, we measure steps, we measure oxygen saturation, but we rarely ask whether the body can stay coherent when carbon dioxide rises. So the real question is not only, am I getting enough oxygen? The better question is, can my body use the oxygen I already have? Can the blood deliver it? Can my tissues receive it? Can my nervous system stay calm enough to let flow return? You may not be low in oxygen at all. It may be that your body has lost tolerance for the very signal that helps oxygen where it's needed. And when that signal becomes safe again, breath changes, flow changes, recovery changes. The body stops fighting its own chemistry. And pressure becomes practice, not panic.